The first thing I noticed wasn't the pregnant woman walking toward our table. It was my two closest friends trying, and failing, to hide their laughter. The moment she stopped beside me and quietly asked, "Are you Daniel?" the entire restaurant seemed to freeze. 5 minutes later, not a single person was laughing anymore. If you've ever been judged before someone even learned your name, this story will stay with you long after it ends. Sometimes the cruelest jokes reveal the kindest hearts, and sometimes the people we expect to embarrass us become the ones who change our lives forever. What happened that rainy Friday night taught everyone in that restaurant that dignity cannot be mocked, compassion cannot be faked, and one unexpected decision can rewrite more than one future. Stay with me until the end, because every awkward smile, every painful silence, and every surprising confession leads to a moment no one could have predicted. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional and inspiring stories like this, make sure to support the channel by liking this video, subscribing, and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us bring more powerful stories of kindness, hope, and humanity. I had never wanted a blind double date in the first place. My co-workers, Ryan and Melissa, insisted I had been working too much since my father passed away the previous year. They said I needed to stop living between the office and my apartment. After weeks of refusing, I finally gave in, mostly because they promised the evening would be relaxed and fun. The restaurant they chose overlooked the river, its windows glowing warmly against the steady rain outside. Candles flickered on every table while soft piano music drifted through the room. Ryan greeted me with a grin that felt unusually forced. "There he is," he said. "Tonight is going to be unforgettable." Melissa struggled to hide a smirk. "I hope you keep an open mind," she added. Something about their expressions unsettled me, but I ignored it. Then the hostess approached with a woman. She wore a simple dark green dress beneath a tan coat. One hand rested protectively against her very pregnant belly while the other held a worn leather handbag. She looked nervous, almost ready to apologize for existing. "Daniel?" she asked softly. I stood immediately. "Yes. You must be Emma." She nodded. "I'm sorry I'm a little late." "You don't have to apologize." Before she could sit down, Ryan burst into laughter. "I can't believe she actually came." Melissa covered her mouth, trying not to laugh even harder. Emma's smile disappeared. She looked from them to me, clearly realizing something wasn't right. Ryan leaned back in his chair. "We thought it'd be hilarious." "Hilarious?" I asked. "You've been avoiding dating forever," he said. "So we figured we'd give you the most impossible setup imaginable." Melissa added, "Come on, Daniel. Admit it. This is priceless." Silence settled over our table. Emma lowered her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I think there's been a misunderstanding." She reached for her handbag. "I'll leave." Without thinking, I stepped beside her. "No." She looked surprised. I pulled out the chair across from mine. "Please stay." Ryan blinked. "What are you doing?" I ignored him. Turning back to Emma, I smiled. "If you're willing, I'd still love to have dinner with you." She stared at me as though she wasn't sure she'd heard correctly. "You don't have to pretend." "I'm not pretending." Her eyes glistened. For several long seconds she didn't move. Finally she sat down. The laughter behind me had completely stopped. The waiter awkwardly asked if we were ready to order. "I think we need another menu," I said. Ryan leaned toward me. "Seriously?" I met his eyes. No one deserves to be someone's joke. His face turned pale. Dinner began quietly. Emma barely touched her water. "I should explain," she finally said. "You don't owe me an explanation." "I want to." She took a slow breath. "My husband died 8 months ago." The words landed heavily. "He was a firefighter." No one spoke. "He never got to meet our daughter." Her fingers gently rested over her stomach. "I agreed to this date because my sister thought I needed to remember that life wasn't over." She laughed bitterly. I guess she didn't know what she'd signed me up for. I felt anger rising inside me. Not toward Emma. Toward the people sitting across from us. Ryan suddenly couldn't look either of us in the eye. Melissa whispered, "We didn't know." Emma smiled sadly. "Most people don't ask." Conversation slowly changed. She spoke about teaching elementary school. Her students had thrown her a surprise baby shower. One little boy had given her $5 from his piggy bank because babies needed milk. I laughed. She laughed too. For the first time that evening, the tension eased. The waitress returned with dinner. Emma apologized when she couldn't finish her meal. "The baby has decided she's pressing against everything tonight." "No apology necessary." Ryan quietly excused himself. Melissa followed. I assumed they were leaving. Instead, they returned several minutes later. Ryan's expression had completely changed. He looked ashamed. "I'm sorry." Neither of us answered. He swallowed hard. I thought this would just be harmless. Emma looked at him calmly. "It wasn't." "I know." His voice cracked. "My younger sister struggled after becoming a single mother. I should have remembered how people treated her." Melissa wiped away tears. "We acted horribly." Emma nodded politely. "I appreciate the apology." The conversation ended there. No dramatic forgiveness. No speeches. Just uncomfortable honesty. As dessert arrived, Emma smiled for what seemed like the first genuine time all evening. "You know," she said, "this is actually the nicest dinner I've had since my husband passed." "I'm glad you stayed." "So am I." Outside, the rain had stopped. The river reflected hundreds of tiny city lights. When dinner ended, I walked her toward her car. Halfway across the parking lot, she suddenly stopped. "The baby's kicking." Her face lit up. "Would you like to feel?" I hesitated. "Only if you're comfortable." She gently guided my hand to the side of her belly. A tiny kick met my palm. For a brief second, the entire world seemed to disappear. I couldn't help smiling. She already has strong opinions. Emma laughed so hard she nearly cried. I think she does. Neither of us realized Ryan had quietly watched from the restaurant entrance. He never interrupted. The next morning my phone buzzed. It was a message from Emma. "Thank you for seeing me instead of the joke." I stared at those words for several minutes before answering. No one should ever have to wonder whether they deserve kindness. That simple message became the beginning of a friendship neither of us had expected, proving that sometimes the most unforgettable nights begin with someone else's cruelty but are transformed by a single choice to treat another human being with respect.